What's up, guys? So on today's video, we're going to be talking about why I actually ended up leaving Kixie and what I ended up going to in order to continue running my business in a much easier way. So I did end up leaving Kixie. It's nothing against the platform or anything, but what I did find is with all the integrations that you have to continue adding on, such as Zapier and everything like that, it just makes it a lot harder to run your business and make it run smoothly. So it came into an issue of scalability. It's very hard to bring someone in and say, hey, add these automations, especially when you are running through Go High Level. So with Kixie, obviously you have a power list, but in order to get that power list integrated back into your Go High Level, depending on if they missed appointments, when they do book appointments and everything like that, what you end up having to do is just run a lot of zaps in order to sync everything. And after building a ton of zaps in order to make that work, it was very hard to bring someone else on in order to show them exactly how I run my process. So I ended up finding something that is just a little bit more scalable and a lot easier to use, especially if it's just you or if you are using a dialer. It does make it a lot easier for them to use that. So the program that I do use now is called Wavv. So Wavv is built for Go High Level. And when it comes to cost between the two, they're pretty much exactly the same. Kixie, you have to pay quarterly. It's about $600. That's about $200 a month. Wavv, I think I pay like $170 with all my phone numbers and everything like that. So when it comes to a savings perspective, there's really not a ton of difference. The biggest difference is just going to be especially the reporting as well as how it's built out. So the nice thing about Wavv is the way it works is you have your own workflow, which you can actually build out your own if you do want to. They do give you a template in order to do this. But what that lets you do is on the opportunities, what you have is you'll have new leads, callback, and you disposition them as they move through. So I've seen workflows. This is just the base one that you get with Wavv, so it has no answer and it counts all the way through. And so you can also do it like 1 through 5. However you want to do that, you just change whatever triggers because all it does is trigger through tags in Go High Level. So obviously on this one, I do not have any contacts on there. So if we go over to, say, applications, if you do want to call, this is my other template one because I don't want to show other people's names that I talk to. There's normally a button right here. And so whatever that opportunity tab is, you will just click that and then it will just start dialing. So it makes it a lot easier in order for you to be able to do that because you can just go off, you can say, hey, what are my missed appointments? What's this? And then you're able to just immediately go over and be able to know exactly where you are. And then the nice part about Wavv, if it'll actually load on this one, is it'll actually give you different, say, scenarios. So let me go over to mine. And so on here, what you have is you actually have the Wavv dialer. So this will give you all the numbers that you want when you are looking at this type of stuff. So we have our home. And then the nice thing is it does have reports. So we can see on here how many people went to voicemail, how many people were marked not interested, how many people did not answer, how many people called back, bad numbers, interested, none. So what we're able to do here is, especially if you're doing it, it's much, much easier to track volume and the quality of the conversation because you can see the total amount of talk time. So if your talk time is a lot lower, then you can just determine, hey, maybe something's up or something like that. Now, another difference between Kixie and Wavv is going to be one, you're going to have different numbers. So on here, instead of like Kixie where it uses a cycle of numbers, an infinite pool that you technically do not have that number, Wavv, what it does is you just purchase the amount of numbers. They're, I believe, $1 per month. So they're very, very cheap, but it does add up because if you have spam protection, it's an extra $10 a month so you don't come up as spam or anything like that. So for me, since I run in reality about 5 states, I just have 5 numbers and than the spam protection on there. So that puts me just under $200 a month, but that's why it's not necessarily cheaper than what Kixie is, because you do want spam protection on there just to make sure that obviously your number never gets flagged. So that is another nice thing, is where you can actually have a dedicated number. And then if they do call in, what you'll do is you can just receive calls and then receive calls, and you can set how many lines will dial at the same time. And so everything else is exactly like Kixie. The biggest reason why I ended up switching was mainly just when it comes to the managing of everything. Because if I go in here, everything is all in one platform. So the biggest thing that I've been doing in my business is making sure that I whittle down the amount of apps and integrations that I do have to run, just because it makes it a lot harder. So for me, if I can keep everything in there, it makes my life a lot easier, just because if I do need to go through my missed appointments, I just click missed appointments and I go through it. I don't have to have a Zap that when it's dispositioned to go high level in that opportunity, then it goes back into Kixie, and then it's just kind of a revolving door, and a lot of stuff falls through the cracks. With this type of setup, it does make it a lot easier just to be able to run your business a lot smoother. So that's one of the reasons why I did end up switching over to Wavv. I never really had a big issue with Kixie at all. But when it did come to scaling, I did find that it just became a little bit harder to do with Kixie, just because Kixie is all in one platform. They were getting better at integrating, but you were still bouncing back and forth between two apps, doing this, that, and the other. This just allows you to keep everything all on one platform. And other than that, they're pretty much the same. So just let me know what you guys think about this. Are you guys going to stay with Kixie? Do you want to swap over to Wavv? If you do have any questions about Wavv Dialer or any dialing or anything like that, just leave me a comment down below. I'll respond to all of them. And other than that, I'll see you guys next week.